Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have a 3v3 on Rzhev. I don't know how you call it. Rev. We'll just say Rev. Um, so this is my first 3v3, guys. So before we introduce our heroes, I'll just come out and say it that this is probably gonna be bad. I already lose track of everything in a 2v2, and well, I got suggested a 3v3, and well, why not? Let's go ahead and try it out, see how bad I do at this, and yeah, let me know if you guys like it or not. I'm going to be trying a couple things which we'll mention, but before we do that, let's just go through our heroes today, and starting off with the player that submitted this replay and suggested the great idea of a 3v3. This is Mr. Johnny Rico from the Roughnecks. We'll see how he handles his troops on the field against the aliens. Wait, no, wrong game. Okay. Well, anyways, it's still Johnny Rico anyways, so let's see how he fares. His teammates are going to be Tripmeister Eder. He's the Tripmeister. He's going to be helping him out, also as the Soviets of the Red Army. And the other person is going to be BF3 or 4. He doesn't care. I mean, he's going to like either battlefield. Hellrider 666. So the Hell Rider from Hell, I guess. All of them playing for the Soviets of the Red Army. And they're going to be facing off against, well, none other than the Germans. And we have Mr. Incognito, ... or block, playing for the Germans. We also have the 5th SS Panzer Division Viking. He's not a Viking, he's a Viking. And lastly, no, that's still the Viking. Where's the other guy? And lastly, we have a Scarecrow. So that's pretty good, you know, in case the Soviets deploy any birds, they're going to have a Scarecrow there to, you know, well, scare them off. So anyways, since there's too many players to keep track of, I am just simply going to refer to them as the Soviets and the Germans, or Axis and Allies, or I don't know, however, the blue and red. So we're going to try something. Let me know if you guys like it or not. We are simply going to go ahead and hide the taskbar. Okay, there we go. We're gonna have ourselves a epic looking type of fight. So anyways, we have here conscripts, grenadiers, all of them fighting all over the place. As far as the tactical map shows us, we have engagements all across the center. We have the river as the dividing point here pretty much. And we have a MG42 here being pushed forward. Getting flanked a little bit by a conscript squad, but this conscript squad on this side of this river is pinned down. MG42 sets up again to aim at the bridge. Catches that other conscript squad in the open, gets him pinned down, and the Molotov does go in by this other conscript squad and managed to unpin itself and get only suppressed. Gets back up and is going to hit the target. Another conscript squad comes right behind this MG42 and is probably going to throw another Molotov. There it goes, Molotov right on top of that MG42. MG42 is going to catch on fire. This conscript squad has to retreat because it's down to 2 men, and more Soviet squads are on the field. Complete rout of the German infantry back across the river. It's very nice. We do see snipers hitting the field for the German forces, and we have an incursion on the other side of the river on this side by some grenadiers. Looks like they're going to get intercepted a little bit by these combat engineers, but that's not going to be doing much. Sniper here in the center is probably going to take a shot. No, it is just capturing territory, getting a little bit of camouflage here. It is a German sniper, so it needs to be very careful. Conscript squad's moving around, gonna take a shot by that German sniper. Not sure if that was the best idea. They're gonna return fire, and well, unfortunately they decided not to pursue. Would have been a better idea to do so. Over here on the right hand side, we have Soviet forces pushing across the river, getting this point. It's a strategic point only, and pretty much the Soviets have managed to push the Germans for the most part back to their side of the river. Over here where the sniper is capturing that territory, we have the conscript squad down to 3 men getting shot by that sniper. Pushing up, right there is a pioneer squad coming in for support. The sniper decides to book it out of there before it gets itself killed. Very nice. 2 conscript squads, actually no, just 1 conscript squad, the other one was retreating. This conscript squad moves into the position to deny this pioneers of the capturing, and they're going to fight point blank range, but not before there is an LMG equipped grenadier squad coming up to support, so the conscript squads are probably going to lose this fight. On the right hand side we have 2 MG42s moving around. This one got Molotov and is going to retreat before it burns to death. Manages to make it out with 1 man alive, barely. while the other one is moving across the river and probably going to set up across this point. Left-hand side. Ooh, nice rifle nade goes on top of this conscript squad. Manages to kill a lot of them. Down to 2 men. Those guys are dead, or though that looks like a German. Interesting. That guy is just in the floor. And these Grenadier squads manages to secure a position across the river, getting supported by another Grenadier squad, and there's an MG42 on the other side of the river just holding the line. Looks like they're going to try to prevent this point from getting captured. Not a lot of fighting going on. The Germans are setting up positions across the river. We have a mortar squad on this side of the river. We've got MGs, Grenadiers all the way over here. So it's looking bad for the Soviet forces. They're getting pushed back into their own sectors. We do hear MG42 fire. Not exactly sure where it is. I think it's the LMG42. Yeah, there is the one. Soviet forces and Grenadiers here jumping into this house, getting probably Molotov. Conscripts do rush onto the front of the house. They're going to get behind the house, it looks like. Not exactly sure why that would be. Making that they concentrate there? I don't know. Well, Molotov goes into the house. The German forces jump out of that house, and they are going to be just fine, trying to take that point. Another conscript squad in the area to try to fight them off. On the left-hand side, we have a massive fight. Grenadiers getting down to 1 man on the one of the squads. They do hit retreat. Combat engineers down to 2 men, also getting shot in the face by this Grenadier squad. Down to 1, they decide to retreat, and the Grenadiers do get routed by the Soviet forces. Soviet forces are going to manage to recapture their side of the river on the left-hand side. Right-hand side, another massive engagement. We have Molotovs going into the house. Nobody's in the house just yet, but they might be taking some damage on the side. Mortar hit goes right on top of this Soviet squad. Does a little bit of damage, down to 4 men. More Soviet squads, 1 across on the car, 1 inside the house, and this one gets bombarded by more mortars, and they have to get out of there at 3 men. Nice incendiary barrage goes right on top of that car, makes these squads run away. They do hit Ura and get themselves out of the area instead of retreating. This squad decides to jump out and run through the fire. They're a little bit cold, and they're going to just, you know, get a little bit burned on their feet. Ooh, conscript squad down to 1 man. I don't think it's going to make it out, and they get executed on the retreat by that LMG-42. MG42 gets some Molotov right on top of their face, and they're going to have to retreat down to 1 man, but they should be able to make it out fine. And the mortars on the other side of the river, mortar squad and mortar half-track, lays down a beating on this other squad and is out. Soviet forces do have a mortar on their side, but it's going to get rushed a little bit by those Grenadiers and Pioneers. But there is a lot of Soviet forces coming up on the flank to reinforce, cutting off the retreat path as well. Let's see if the Germans make it out of there. They're down to 1 man. They're going to run the gauntlet. He does have the LMG-42 and has a fairly good amount of health, so he is going to make it out of there just fine. Pioneer squad at 3 men. Has a lot of health, even though it's running through a lot of infantry. I think it's going to make it out of there. Nice incendiary barrage right on top of all the Serbian infantry. Pioneer squad makes it out of 1 man, and there's another one on its retreat path supporting it a little bit. Soviet forces have to move around the place all over. Just dodge that fire and all those mortar shots. Very brutal. Let's see how many mortars we have. We still have only 2, though. There is a Soviet mortar in the area providing some fire, but it shouldn't be shooting right on top of its friendlies. And this squad has been brutalized down to 2 men by all the mortar fire. And there looks like there's an MG-42 on this side. Yeah, very nice. Cutting off this approach so that the mortars can't get flanked that easily. Very nice. Left-hand side, we have an engagement. There is a armored car or scout car, plus another mortar half-track on this side of the river. Soviet forces pull back a little bit. They don't manage to finish constructing their their sandbags to get some heavily fortified positions. Sniper on this side of the river is not concealed. There is a German sniper on this side of the river just taking shots at the Soviet infantry. Soviet infantry trying to engage, but they're not going to be able to catch it on that side of the river. It isn't easily accessible. They have to run around a little bit and get shot in the process. So on the right-hand side, the brutalist fight is going on. We have Soviet forces getting bombarded. Very nice usage of those incendiary barrages by the German forces, constantly denying territory to the Soviet forces and making them retreat, taking heavy losses in the process. Very nice. Down to 3 men on that conscript squad, so a full rout of the Soviet forces on the right-hand side. We have an incursion into the enemy territory or Soviet territory by German forces. We have sniper supported by these 2 grenadier squads, or actually 2 grenadier squads supported by 1 sniper. Pushing into the territory, there isn't a lot on this side of the field to prevent them. Sniper does get caught in the open by those grenadiers. They do take a little bit of fire, but manage to make it out alive without any losses. And pretty much all the Soviet forces have been pushed back all the way to their base. We do have a conscript squad over on this side of the river. They're hunting that sniper. Sniper is out in the open, taking some shots. It's going to take some damage. Well, actually, no, it manages to cloak before it takes some damage. Jumps out of the cover over to this cover. Nice benefit of the German sniper that it can retain its cover camouflage a little bit longer than the Soviet one. But we do have a massive force of conscripts pushing on this side, getting rid of those grenadiers and the sniper in just one charge. These grenadiers are down to 3 men. They are going to have to retreat. Pioneers on the back and another pioneer with flamethrower trying to hold the line, but that is a lot of Soviet forces pushing forwards. Both of them equipped with PPSH submachine guns. It's going to allow them to get the upper hand. There is an MG42 on the other side of the river, but they are right outside of the range of it, so that MG42 is not going to be able to support. Pioneers do take a Molotov to the face before they have to retreat, while the other one is in range, almost trying to bait the squad. Hit the dirt, activated by the Soviet forces. They're going to be able to hold the line a little bit better. They are being mortared by the Germans, and we do see a Panzer IV hitting the field now for the for the German forces. This Panzer IV could potentially even just walk on top of these Soviets and run him down, but they do unhit the dirt. They do get themselves up out of the dirt and try to rush forward to get an 18-8 it looked like, but they do get pushed back. German forces on this side of this river crossing, taking shots at another grenadier squad. They are going to get caught from behind from a Panzer IV. Panzer IV takes a shot at them, and they decide to commit towards going across the river. There is a Panzer Grenadier squad and a Grenadier squad on that side. Molotov goes in, denying a little bit of territory to these squads, but the Panzer Grenadiers decide to simply push forward, get those conscripts out of the way, and there they go, retreating. Panzer IV is going to take some shots on the retreat, maybe kills 1 or 2. And wow, 2 in 1 shot. Very nice shot by that Panzer IV, but the squad is going to make it out alive. Left-hand side, we have combat engineers with flamethrowers getting rushed in the face by Panzer Grenadier squads. Panzer Grenadiers are going to do very quick work of these combat engineers if they don't get themselves out of there. They're down to 2 men, down to 1. Is he actually going to make it out of there? He's running the gauntlet, running through the river, trying to dodge those bullets, and it looks like he's going to actually make it out of there quite alive. Panzer IV, though, is in the way. Is actually going to take a shot at that combat engineer. The MG is taking shots at it, but the Panzer is focused on that fuel cache, so the combat engineer is going to make it out of there alive. Another push by Soviet forces. Conscripts rushing forward, trying to get that 18-8 off. They do manage to get the 18-8 off, and it crits, getting that engine damage. Panzer Grenadiers rushing in to try to support that Panzer IV, but these conscript squads are veteran C2, and they do have... Ooh, nice one delayed, and wow, nice damage on that. Only gets it down to 3 men, and the Panzer Grenadiers get executed in the process. Nice victory there for the Soviet forces. More Soviet forces surrounding this Panzer IV, throwing more 18-8s, getting a lot of damage on that tank. If they can actually manage to get some type of damage on it. Yes, there we go. Su-85 on the field executes that Panzer IV, and a nice victory for the Soviet forces on their side of the river. On the right-hand side, we do have a heavily disabled engine on a T-34. It's going to decide to retreat before it gets itself killed. Needs to get some repairs on it. Still, the German forces control the majority of the map. The Soviet forces are locked into their corner, so it's going to be very tough. We do have a lot of German forces on this side of the river doing some damage. We have a conscript squad in this house taking a beating by those LMG-42s, and the T-34 is slowly trying to get itself out of there. We have a Pioneer squad over here on this side catching this AT gun out in the open, burning it alive. Although the forces on the extra men on this AT gun are firing at the Pioneers, but it's not enough to kill them. Down to 3 men. Not a lot left on the extra guns. Down to 2 men. Are they actually going to make it out of there? It looks like it's going to get decrewed, but it is relatively close to the Soviet forces' base, and they should be just fine. AT gun actually manages to make it out of there, and conscript squads move into the air to support and push back those Pioneers. Pioneers are down 2 men, and they're going to make it out of there just fine. On the left-hand side, we have a heavy engagement by a lot of Soviet forces, getting bombarded by those flame shots on the mortar half-track. This squad is right in the middle of the flames. They need to get themselves out of there. They're not actually doing or capturing anything in this sector, and they might catch on fire. Oh my god, one of them catches fire. Can't take the heat. Down to 2 men. Oh my god. And he decides to retreat them. Not worth it. So very nice. Conscript squads capturing territory, maybe even finishing these sandbags. Su-85 taking position to cover the river approach on the left-hand side. Right-hand side, we do see a bigger concentration of German forces. We have Panzer IV moving into the area. There is an AT gun around this sector, but it is nowhere to be seen. I think it got pulled back for reinforcements. T-34 getting caught in the open by that Panzer IV. It is getting repaired at the same time by these combat engineers, so it might be able to dish out some damage, but all shots from that T-34 just bounce off the armor. 18-8 goes in, does get a nice damage on the engine, gets a nice crit. LMG, or is it an MG? It's an MG42 out in the open. Su-85 does move to intercept that Panzer IV. Gonna take a shot. Nice damage on that first shot. Gonna be able to take out this Panzer IV very nicely. Another 18-8 goes in, does a little bit more damage, and one last shot by that Su-85 clears it out. Su-85 can potentially shoot at this MG42 to try to dislodge it, but there is a Grenadier squad moving up to try to engage it. Conscripts still on the field. Although they are suppressed by the MG42, they are moving to try to stop those Grenadiers. They are at Vet 2, so they're going to be able to stay there a little bit longer. LMG42 is going to make it a little bit harder, though. Taking a look at the field, this is the primary engagement. Very nice. The Grenadiers, conscripts, a lot of fighting all over the place. Pack gun in position, taking some shots at this disabled T-34. Another T-34 moves into the area to try to support, but not enough damage done in a decent amount of time. Wow, very nice shot there. Almost gets the kill. One last shot should do it. And no, for some reason they decide to focus on the conscripts that were moving up. Quite unfortunate, and the pack gun gets decrewed. Probably going to get recrewed by the Soviet forces, and this T-34 manages to make it out alive. Quite nice. Su-85 moves back into the area. Wow, MG42 in a very collapsible house. Su-85 takes a shot, but doesn't manage to bring it down. One last shot goes in by that T-34, and it collapses the house, but the MG42 did manage to get itself out of there. Down to 2 men, and it's going to make it out just fine. Mortar on the other side of the river, still popping away at all this infantry. Guard squads on the field now, and they are going to help a lot against those Soviet armor. Left-hand side, we do see an incursion by either German forces across the river. We only have a sniper and a combat engineer holding the line with this Su-85, taking shots at distance, but as we all know, it is not that great against infantry. Combat engineers get executed. Ow, the flamethrower bursts on top of that guy, kills most of them, and the last guy gets executed on the retreat. So the German forces have managed to capture this side of the river as well. So again, it is looking very grim for the Soviet forces, as they have a lot less territory than the Germans do. And the fuel income is going to be reduced as this point is going to get captured by the German forces. Mortar on this side of the river, however, is taking some shots at the German forces. It is a 120mm mortar, which is pretty much artillery, but it is not going to be able to stop the cap. We do hear a Katyusha firing, and the Katyusha shots are going somewhere over there. Sorry, I missed where it went, but we now have a Katyusha on the field, so very nice. And again, the lines are being drawn. Germans pulling back to their side of the river, while the Soviet forces recapture their territory they got taken on this side. This munition point is still being held by the German forces. It is pretty much being protected by this MG42, so only this area on this side is easily accessible by the infantry, and this infantry is probably going to get caught in the open. The right-hand side, we do have an MG bunker, pretty much stopping any attempts for the Soviet forces at pushing forward. It is very nicely positioned. Look, it covers the entire approach. So it needs, or the German forces need more, I mean, the Soviet forces would need more power simply to break through that line. There's 2 MGs and a lot of indirect fire, plus probably armor support easily coming on that side. We do have some type of airstrike being called into this area. Let's see what it is. It looks like it is a strafing run. And it just pinned down 2 squads, one of them being a Guards rifle. One of them retreats before it takes a lot of damage, but the Guards rifle decide to hold the line. We do have a... well, actually, no, it's not coming in for another run. As I recall, it was balanced so that it doesn't strafe so often. It's probably going to still pin down the squad. Near the munition point, we do have a sniper caught in the open by the Germans, or a German sniper caught in the open, that is. Does manage to retreat out of there without getting killed. Katyusha barrage going across the river. Hitting the mortar? No, it actually only hit a little bit. Hitting the bunker. Well, not a bad idea to hit it there. You want to get that bunker out of there. And still not a lot of engagements. The Soviets are still pushed back into their side of the base. A nice push here by the German forces, spearheaded by a Panzer IV, with a second Panzer IV coming in to support. A lot of infantry on this side of the river. Those are 4 Grenadier squads plus 2 Panzer Grenadiers. T-34 gets executed by that Panzer IV quite quickly. We have Panzer Shreks on these Panzer Grenadiers, so those are going to help a lot against that armor. And we still have a very strong push being made by the German forces. Panzer IV a little bit forward, getting some hits on that T-34. We do have an Su-85 on the distance, taking some shots at that Panzer IV, doing some good damage. T-34 is almost dead. I don't think it's going to make it out alive. Su-85 does move into position to try to get a nice shot on that Panzer IV. Although that actually looks like a Panther. Yeah, well, what am I thinking? Those are actually Panthers. Those aren't Panzer IVs. No wonder they, the one Panther executed that T-34 quite effectively. Su-85 getting circle strafed by that Panther. Very, one of the few units that can actually successfully do that. But that Panther is going to go out of control, getting shot by those AT guns. I think that actually is a pack gun. They got recruited. Yeah, that's a pack gun. Getting killed by its own weaponry. Very nice engagement all across. On the right-hand side, we do have Panzer IVs this time, trying to circle strafe that stolen pack gun. Pack gun does move into position, but alright guys, had to sneeze. I was saying the pack gun did move to a different position, but it isn't in the best position to shoot at those Panzer IVs. The Panzer IVs do take some shots in the process by this Su-85 and decide to retreat before getting themselves killed. One of them less than half health, while the other one is still at full health. So nice push there by the German forces. Did a lot of damage, but not a full wipe. Tigers now on the field, supported by this Panther IV. That is a lot of German armor on the field now. Right-hand side, we do have a small engagement by pack gun moving up, getting shot in the face by those Soviet forces with machine guns. Gets decrewed, another pack gun that could potentially go into the hands of the Soviets. In the center, we see a push by the Tiger tank. Gonna try to hunt that Su-85. Su-85 takes a shot by the Tiger, but it actually misses. Su-85 returns fire, getting a nice penetration on the frontal armor. Does about 20% damage, it looked like. Get a bounce, another bounce, so pretty much bouncing off each other. Another nice penetration by that Su-85 brings it to about 75% health. One shot by the Tiger, gets some damage on it. So back and forth, the Su-85 is actually doing a better job at penetrating. So the Tiger decides to back off after it sees, well, looks like my gun isn't the best. We do hear some vehicles blowing up around this area. I'm not exactly sure what it was. Right-hand side, we do see Panzer IV still prodding, still poking, seeing what they can find. Pack gun did actually get recruited by the Soviet. No, actually it's still over there. Never mind. This is the original stolen pack gun. Taking some shots at its former allied armor, doing some nice damage, and Su-85 moving into position to get some shots on those Panzer IVs. This looks like an MG42. Is it an MG42? No, it's actually a shopping cart. Okay, so that's a Maxim machine gun by the Soviet forces on the right-hand side. Gets retreated. Wasn't able to take that much punishment. And we now see that the German forces are pulling back on the right-hand side to their reinforced position while the Su-85 pursues. But there is now an upcoming strong push by a lot of infantry on the center point. And there isn't anything on this side pretty much for the Soviets. There is an Su-85 that's trying to stop armor. And there's 2 infantry squads. This squad is over here not doing much. And we have an Su-85 on this side of the river. Well, not river, on this side of the map. Could potentially take some shots at that bunker if it keeps in the area. Takes another shot, does some good damage, but it looks like it's going to back away, not taking any risks of getting circle strafe. Center position getting a little bit assaulted by German forces. Left-hand side getting heavily pushed by 3 Grenadier squads at once. These conscript squads on their own are not going to be able to do much. The sniper's going to take some shots, but it's not going to be able to do much against all those infantry. Su-85 trying as hard as it can to get some kills on the infantry, but not doing so much because of its gun. Nice rifle nade goes in, takes care of 3 of those Soviet forces, conscripts, and they have to retreat. Su-85 still taking some shots. Katusha barrage going right on top of this approaching infantry, and it is gets a nice shot in there, but doesn't actually manage to get any kills. This one-man Grenadier squad is trying to retreat. They're going to be able to retreat across the river, and a Tiger is coming up on that side of the river to hold the line. Nice shot goes in, almost executes that entire conscript squad down to one man. He's going to decide to retreat. Doesn't want to lose the entire squad. Very nice. Right-hand side, we do see the Soviet forces moving up a little bit to try to capture, it looks like. This AT gun is taking some shots at nothing, it looks like. Not sure what it was. She's shooting the ground, it looks like. Interesting. And the right-hand side still pretty much left untouched by the Soviet forces. This bunker got brought down to half health, but that's about it. Center munitions point is not... yeah, it's not being contested at all. Soviet forces focusing on this right-hand side. Let's see if they decide to go for it. There is an MG42 heavy machine gun right there. Another pack gun that could get recruited. There it goes. It does get recruited. Very nice. And the Katyusha taking some shots at something. Looks like it shot across the river. We now have a Tiger going forward, maybe trying to hunt that Katyusha. Runs into conscripts and an Su-85 pack gun plus T-34. T-34 looks like it might be trying to go for a ram. Is it actually going to do so? No, he notices that it is further out range. Ooh, nice shot by that pack gun, catching that T-34 out in the open. Tiger does get brought down to about half health. Pack gun is moving or redeploying to cover the entire approach. Going to take a shot at that Su-85. Su-85 also going to get shot by Panzer Shreks. Nice shot goes in, brings the Su-85 to about 30% health. Pack gun doesn't take a shot. It's going to move forward, trying to hunt it down. Let's see how it pans out. On the left-hand side, we have a major engagement. A Tiger moves across the river, supported by the Pioneers. Going to shoot at only infantry on that left-hand side. So it is pretty much going to have free reign. Conscripts decide to rush forward and push back those Panzer Shrek-equipped Panzer Grenadiers. And it's also going to go on top of that pack gun. Pack gun needs to get itself out of there, and those conscripts need to push a little bit further. They are down to 3 men, so they don't have that much firepower, but with the DPSHs, they should actually be able to easily clear out that pack gun. Down to 2 men, another burst. Wow, down to 2 men on the conscript squad. That pack gun has been very effective at clearing out those infantry, but it does get itself clear out and gonna get potentially recruit. Tiger does decide to move back on its side of the river, while the Pioneers should stay on this side, capturing. Su-85s moving into the area because they saw that Tiger over there. And on the right-hand side, we just simply have bombardment by the mortars, still being very pisky, very annoying. So no major engagement going on so far that we can see. Again, forces content with staying on their side of the drawn lines on the battlefield. This munitions point could still be contested by the Soviet forces. Not sure why they don't go a little bit forward, but, well. Pioneers on this side getting bombarded by those Su-85s. Are they actually going to make it out of there? There is a Guards rifle shooting it on the retreat. Might be able to get the kill. They do manage to get enough distance from the infantry, and it looks like it's going to be fine. Tiger tank moving into that side of the map. It is a little bit damaged, so not sure if it's the best idea. There are Guards rifles that could pin it down, and 2 Su-85s as well, which could very easily take it out in rapid succession. So, German forces pushing through the center. We have Panzer Grenadiers in force, plus Grenadiers to support, and they are going to go for this side of the map in the center. There isn't anything right now in that sector for the Soviet forces. There is an MG42 getting bombarded by the mortar though, so it's not going to last long. It does manage to pin down one of the Grenadier squads, but another shot by the mortar goes in and gets one of them killed. There's just one more guy left on that MG42, and one more shot by that mortar should actually do it, if it lands, of course. Katyusha barrage goes in, trying to dislodge those mortars. Right on top of the mortar squad, actually. But unfortunately, it's not that accurate. That shot might go. Ooh, no. So unfortunately, it's not as accurate as it would have liked. It does manage to get a retreat on that mortar squad, but nothing else. Still, major engagement right here in the center. We do have some strafing barrages by the Soviet airplanes, and it manages to get a retreat on these Grenadier squads, or Panzer Grenadier squads. This Grenadier squad stays a little bit too long out that area and gets blown up by that barrage. Tiger decides to back the hell up from the river, takes a shot by one of the mortars, a 100-millimeter mortar it looked like. Does a little bit of damage, but not that much. Still, at this point, I can't help but think that it could have been pushed a little bit forward by the Soviet forces, but again, it looks like they are deciding to stay there. And again, another thing that you guys might notice is that there are no victory points. So yes, this is an annihilation map, so it's going to take a while. So somebody's going to have to get the upper edge, or the upper hand that is, on somebody, and go in for the kills. Nice Stuka barrage right here in the center, pushing away all that infantry, getting infantry pushing across the river, and managing to rout all the infantry. Now on the left-hand side, we do have a massive focus on a lot of infantry. We have 2 guards rifle, 1 conscript, a sniper, plus Su-85. So this force could actually potentially be used to push across the river and get a foothold. We'll see if they decide to do that. Conscript squad here decide to finally go for the munition point to say, you know what? We should probably capture that point and use the river as a natural, you know, deterrent, or not deterrent, but natural divider at least. And there they go. They are capturing that point. We do have a conscript squad also going here, and a plane crashing. Okay. Anyways, there's that pack gun there. Somebody could potentially use it if they decide to, but, well, nobody has so far. The more pack guns you have, the better, because that German armor is going to suffer against it. And I'm stupid. There is a victory point. What the hell was I thinking? Okay. So never mind. It's not annihilation. There's a victory point right there. But is it just 1 victory point? No? Okay. Never mind. Disregard what I said last night. I'm stupid. It's just because I didn't have the the points, because I don't have the taskbar, that I thought, oh, well, there's no points, so there's no no victory points. So never mind. So we don't know exactly how the victory points are going, and unfortunately, due to some yeah, we'll say it, some stupid mistakes on my part, I can't actually recover the taskbar. So yeah. All that means is that, well, the game is going to end all of a sudden, and not even I am going to know when it ends. So yeah, we have the victory point over here, and the victory point right here, and we have the victory point over here. So right now, the German forces haven't been involved. And this nice push here by the German armor, spearheaded by this Tiger tank, supported by Panzer, supported by Panzer force, all over the Soviet tanks, getting all of them killed. There is a, quite a failed attempt. One of the T-34s decides to ram that Tiger, but it doesn't actually manage to get the critical on it, and it just gets itself killed. Another another T-34 down. We do have a conscript squad with a Panzer Schreck equipped, which will help out, but look at all that armor. They're just barreling through, destroying everything in their path. Very nice push by the German forces, all the way into the Soviet bases. This Tiger is so up there. It's, you know... okay, I'm just not going to say anything because it would be a little bit rude. But, okay, it's so forward that it's getting its ass raped. Okay, I thought I wasn't going to say anything, but now I said something worse. Anyways, so that Tiger went a little bit too forward. Now getting shot by those Su-85s, and the Su-85s do execute it. This Tiger just had to stop itself cold right in front of the Su-85s. Nice barrage by the Su-85s is going to do a little bit of damage. 3 of them shooting at once should do quick work from this Tiger. There is a Panther on the flank, taking some shots at those Su-85s, but that Tiger is the bigger threat, it looks like, and they're going to focus on it. Su-85 very low in health, but the Panther is getting now shot back, but that Su-85 doesn't make it out and gets destroyed. This one takes a nasty shot and destroys its gun, so it's essentially useless. There is an artillery gun on the field for the Soviet forces. And this is a stolen pack gun? Yeah, the stolen pack is now vet 3. And it is doing an awesome amount of damage at this Panther. And one more shot takes it down. Very brutal. Veteran C3 AT gun. Not something to be messed with. So the Soviets have managed to break that attack and are now pushing forward, taking the advantage. Panzer Schreck equipped on these conscripts is going to help out a lot. Taking some shot at this Panther. Panther takes a side shot on this Su-85, and the Su-85 is going to die after one more shot. Vet 3 AT gun does turn around and take some shots at this Panther. Su-85 does get abandoned, so it might be a nice lucky break for the Soviet forces, but unfortunately they lost their Bet 3 pack gun. It's going to be able to get recruited and potentially repaired, but unfortunately they did not keep the veterancy. Su-85 did get abandoned, and fortunately for the Soviet forces, they managed to recover it. They're going to repair it, and that is going to allow them to keep some type of armor on the field. From what I can tell, there's only 3 more, or actually 3 in total. There's this Su-85 back at the base. There's this one over here getting repaired, and yeah, this one over here. So yeah, they still had 3 more, and they repaired this other one, so they're going to have still a lot of on the field. And we now have this big effing tank. I forget what it's called. This is the IS-2, I believe? Yeah. It's either the IS-2 or the ISU. I haven't seen them enough on the field to know exactly which one it is, and because I can't pull up the taskbar anymore, well, I can't. Yeah, I mean, and the reason I say I can't, guys, look, I can't actually physically reach the icon. I know you guys can see it down there, but I can't. So, yeah, sorry about that. But anyways, I think it's looking pretty good this way. Using the tactical map for once is not a bad option. Panther on this side gets caught in the open, gets destroyed, and I think it's out of control, right? Yeah, it's out of control, and it's going to just blow up right across the river. So it was a nice attempt by the German forces at blitzkrieging the entire Soviet army. They did manage to penetrate all the way into their bases, but they didn't have enough behind them to seal the deal, and they got pushed back. Right-hand side, a lot of Soviet forces pushing and retreating all this German heavy weapons. Left-hand side, we have a small capping team of Panzer Grenadiers getting shot at by an Su-85 and the Sniper. Sniper takes a nice shot, and the Su-85 as well, killing one of those Panzer Grenadiers. Sniper takes another shot, and it misses. Interesting. Okay. So, in response, a lot of German forces are going on the left-hand side. They're going to try to recap that territory because they lost their footing on the right-hand side. Okay, well, sorry about that, guys. My computer crashed again. If any of you saw my video log I put last week, I still have not been able to fix the issue, and, well, it happened again. So, I'll have to recover from this point. Now, well, this gives us a nice chance to check what has been happening, since I can't, you know, check this later on. So anyways, like we said, we do have victory points, not like I thought originally where it was annihilation. And the points have been reduced to 128 for the Soviet forces, and we still have 312 points for the German side. The game is about halfway done, as you can see here, so we might expect maybe a comeback from the Soviets, or at least them delaying for a while. So we'll see what happens there. Now, I guess we can quickly check, since we're here, what the status is of our players. So Johnny Rico, the person that sent in the replay, we have him, obviously, as a Soviet player. We have him going for the Guards Mortar doctrine. He has the 120mm mortar, the Guards Rifle, we knew all that, marked vehicle. And he currently has on the field 2 Guards Rifle, 2 Conscript Squads, a Sniper, 2 mortars, both of them being the 120mm mortar from this doctrine, so nice artillery there. And he has himself 3 Su-85s. He is pretty much pop-capped, so he can't really spend much of anything right now, and he has, well, up to 700 manpower right now, which is probably the case because of the pop cap. But not a bad thing. I mean, he has all his upgrades, so very nice. So let's go take a quick look through all the other guys. Let's you know, consider this like a small recap in the middle of the game, I guess. We're pretty much in the middle, so not bad. Anyways, Hell Rider 666, his ally from Hell, is went with the I forget what it's called, but the Guards Rifle and the Hit the Dirt doctrine one. He has himself 4 Conscript Squads because of his Hit the Dirt ability. He has not, or well, I can't say he has not because I had never actually checked, but he doesn't currently have any Guards Rifle in the field. He has his Combat Engineer. He is the one that set up a Howitzer. Howitzer has only so far gotten 2 infantry and 1 vehicle destroyed, but it you know, should help out a lot. And I think he has the Stolen Pack. Yeah, he's the one with the Stolen Pack Gun, or a Stolen Pack Gun. I can't really say the, because it was around here. Well, maybe he did pick it up. I forget where it was. It was around here, but oh well. That pack gun was so useful, it is no longer there. Anyways, he has a pack gun on the field, and he also has himself 2 Su-85 plus a Katusha. Now, considering his infantry are a little bit down, he needs to reinforce. I think he might also be pop-capped, so I don't think he can actually get any additional armor. But he has the Katusha on the field, and the Katusha so far has Vet 1 and has Kindle 9 infantry. And the last Soviet player is Tripmeister Eder, and he went with the shock rifle doctrine that gives him the ISU. So just to clarify what I said earlier on, this is the ISU, not the IS-2. So all of you probably knew that because you're more knowledgeable than me, but well, now we all know, so we're on the same page. So yeah, he has himself the ISU, and as far as units, he doesn't have a lot. He probably lost more than anybody else in the assault from the German forces. He is the player that is on the right-hand side, it looks like. Yeah. No, actually, he's there. I don't know. Well, regardless, he might have been over on this side, so he doesn't have a lot. He has 2 conscript squads, another one in production, which is about to finish. One of his conscript squads did pick up a Panzer, which is very nice. That's going to allow him to get more anti-tank capabilities on the field. He has a AT gun. This is an actual Soviet AT gun, and he has the IS-2. So. Not sure if he produced Su-85s himself. He is the one that went tier 3, so no, he doesn't have the ability to produce Su-85s. So he's probably the one that had all those T-34s that got brutalized in this assault. Now, going over for the German forces, Mr. Incognito here with all the dots. He has the doctrine, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's the one that gives you the mortar half-track and the relief infantry, mortar half-track smoke bombs, artillery gun, and the sector artillery. He also doesn't have a lot on the field. He has 1 MG42 that's retreating. What did I do? Oh, I clicked on that. Okay. 1 Pioneer squad somewhere around in the field, and a mortar squad that's also retreating. His only armor is a Panther, which is brand new, hasn't actually done anything. And he has the mortar half-track that has been on this side of the river, being quite annoying with all those incendiary barrages. His next ally, Scarecrow, scaring the crow out of everybody. He does have a lot. He went with the doctrine that gives you the Opal Blitz, the strafing runs, and the Tigers, because we've seen a lot of Tigers in this game. He has a lot on the field. He has 4 Grenadier squads, so I'm assuming those are the ones, yeah, those are on the left-hand side that are currently pushing. 2 Pioneer squads for repairs, obviously. He has himself 2 Tiger tanks in his name right now, and the Opal Blitz, which are just simply, providing more resources to the entire army. And lastly, the 5th SSS Panzer Division Viking doesn't have anything on the field pretty much. He has 2 Panzer Grenadiers, one of them retreating right now from this side, and a Grenadier squad also going to the left-hand side. So all those infantry are focusing right now on the left-hand side, and a Pioneer somewhere around here probably for repairs. So a lot of losses, as we can tell from that German assault. They still have some Tigers on the field to essentially hold the lines, and I think a Panther around here. Where is it? Over here? No, over here. So Panther on this side, so that the Soviets can't simply just walk all over them. But yeah, that was a very costly battle. We'll see how it fares. And that is basically it. We're just going to jump back onto Johnny Rico, our hero, the one that sent in this replay, and see how it looks out. So the last thing we were saying is that we had a massive force of German infantry pushing on the left-hand side. I'm going to take off the taskbar again, and let's see how it goes. Katyusha barrage being called in, and there it goes, right on top of all that infantry. Worst angle for me to look and see if it hits. Not a lot of hits, and 1 nice hit goes in there. Takes this squad down to 2 men. Hits retreat on that squad. But unfortunately, there's just so much infantry on only 1 Katyusha that it doesn't manage to actually get the retreat on all of those. So they are going to stay on the battlefield. The Su-85 and the snipers just simply back off a little bit. They're going to try to pick off that squad. Is he actually going to make it? Yeah, he manages to run out of the range of the sniper before it takes another shot. More infantry pushing up. There's another Su-85 on this side, trying to hold the line. The sniper is very exposed, needs to be very careful. Retreat it, get it out of there. It's going to get executed. 1 barrage from the LMG goes in, but the snipers manages to actually just simply hit sprint and get itself out of there. Very nice usage by Johnny Rico and his sniper. Going to be able to hold the line and pick off at this infantry until they retreat. Checking the rest of the map, we have a huge amount of concentration of Soviet forces on the right-hand side. They are engaging a Panther on its own. Unsupported Panther is going to die very easily to these Su-85s. So the entire right-hand side is now open for the Soviet forces to push. Last infantry squad gets retreated on the left-hand side. A Tiger does move into the area to support. It is essentially masking itself by these trees, but I think that the Su-85s are aware of its position, One Su-85 from the other side of the river takes a shot at the rear armor of the Tiger. One Su-85 moves into intercept, but the Tiger pops some smoke, but it does leave the smoke, which is now keeping him revealed. Su-85 takes some shot at the rear armor. The other Su-85, very nice, getting some nice long-range hits. All three Su-85s opening up on the Tiger. This Tiger is going to die before he gets to safety. One last shot goes in. Ooh, actually manages to get itself free. And two Tigers are now pushing forward, engaging three Su-85s head-on. Nice shots from the Tigers. Brings that Su-85 very close to death. About 20% health, 30% probably at the most. Conscripts do push a little bit forward. We're going to try to get some 18-8s on these Tigers, but I don't think the 18-8 is going to do anything. Actually, they don't. They just fake it. Wow, this Tiger goes out of control. So one Tiger gets immediately taken out by these Su-85s. Very nice. I actually missed what happened, so I'm not sure who shot it. But the Su-85 across the river, plus the pack gun, probably did the job. So these two Tiger tanks are going to just push back and stay. So these conscripts need to push forward. You need to take the advantage and try to capture some territory on the other side of the river. And there they go, finally pushing across the river for the Soviet forces after a long time on the field. And, well, let's see what happens of this. Right-hand side still relatively exposed or open for the German forces, or the Soviet forces to take, that is. But the focus is currently being on the left-hand side. We have a strong push through the center from the German forces. For some reason, heavy weapons spearheading the assault. Another tank goes down. No, wait. Never mind. That was just a cache. Okay, never mind. So the conscripts are pushing forward, scouting out, seeing what they can spot in this territory. AT gun or pack gun here, not in a great position as far as capping goes. That could have been used to cap a little bit. And it looks like the conscript squad that was spearheading the assault got executed in between all these forces. Small amounts of heavy weapons team on the right-hand side trying to hold the line. This MG42 is going to get rushed by these two conscript squads. Over here on the center through the river, we see 4 Grenadier squads pushing forward, but we have 2 Su-85s and a conscript squad holding the line. They're going to be able to hold the line against these Grenadiers for quite a while. And Pioneers crossing the river to help out with those flamethrowers. MG42 does get decrewed, and the mortar is getting retreated. Center is the heavier fight. We have more Grenadier squads, but the Katyusha barrage goes in right on top of the river. Gonna force some retreats. Nice hit right there on this Grenadier squad. Mortar hits this other squad. Very low health squad. Has to retreat. A strafing or bombing run goes right on top of these squads. Gets a lot of infantry killed, but not any squads eliminated, it looks like. 2-man conscript squad decides to retreat and get itself out of that fight. This Grenadier squad is going to have to retreat after getting shot at by the ISU, I believe. No, by the mortar gun. Okay. No, wait. It's not a mortar gun. No, wait. It is. No? Okay, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. Okay, well anyways, German forces do get routed from the center, pushed back to their base. But again, the Soviet forces for some reason are not pushing into their side of the territory. You gotta at least try to capture those points, you know, put some pressure on. Go to the right-hand side and take care of that freaking bunker that's been there all game. And, you know, start capping the right-hand side. You can't let your enemy continue to hold the majority of the map for the entire game. Nothing stopping these squads from going a little bit forward, but oh well. Artillery gun from the German forces is taking shots at something around here. Oh, the opposing artillery gun. Ooh, and it actually managed to get a kill. Very nice. So counter artillery barrage there. This is an AT gun. I'm not sure why I was thinking it was anything else, but oh well. So counter barrages from the artillery from the Germans do take out the Soviet artillery. But now we do finally see some. No, not capping. Oh my God, what's going on here? Why wouldn't you cap? Just cap the territory. Cap it already. There he goes. Okay. Right-hand side still defended by one MG bunker and a Panther. You hear the Katyusha firing. It's firing across the river. Or it wasn't the Katyusha. We do see on the distance a heavy push again by German forces on the left-hand side. We have 4 Grenadier squads pushing in unison. They're going to run away these, or push away these conscript squads. And what do we have on the field to defend? We do have Guards Rifle holding the line here in heavy cover, plus an AT gun, pack gun that gets stolen, plus 2 Su-85s. So this sector should be decently protected. Conscript Squad does decide to retreat in the face of 4 Grenadier Squads, so it's going to be fine. Right-hand side getting reinforced heavily now by the German forces. Missed opportunity there by the Soviets to push on the right-hand side. Mortar weapon being pushed a little bit forward, trying to get some shots on the Soviet forces in the center. And we do still have all those units retreating. Now we do have a barrage artillery being used in this sector, trying to dislodge all this armor and infantry. Not actually doing a lot. ISU being used a little bit as artillery. Gonna turn around and take some shots at this. T-34 is getting shot in the rear by this Panther, exposing the rear armor to them. 2 Tigers, actually 1 Tiger, 1 Panther, 2 Tigers, actually 3 Tigers on the right-hand side. So a heavy push by the German forces on this right-hand side. ISU getting caught in the open by all these armor. It's going to take some shots at those Tigers, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to do much. It's going to be taken down. Katusha also getting caught in the midst of this battle. Is going to go down in 1 shot. Just somebody has to pick at it, pick it and shoot at it. Su-85s trying to hold the line, shooting at all this armor. Panther actually focused on the Su-85, but 1 nice shot goes into that Katusha, takes it down, following small arms fire, it looked like. Takes a shot and explodes that Katusha. Su-85s backing off, trying to stay with their forward guns, pointing at these tanks. Panther actually getting some nice shots on the side armor of that Su-85. Su-85 turns against it and takes a nice shot, brings it down. Tiger tank is the only one left in the middle of 3 Su-85s. I don't think it's going to make it out of there. We do see some call-in. Something is coming up, and it looks like it might be a bombing run. It looks like it was a strafing run, trying to get rid of all that infantry. But the German armor has been executed. What do we have left on the field? We do have a Tiger still left, trying to back up, trying to stay itself alive. They did manage to break the lines of the Soviets in this sector, but only pushing them back, basically. They're going to be able to quickly just push forward and regain their territory. And at this point, I would suggest, come on, Soviets, just keep on pushing north. You can take it with all this armor that you have. Su-85 using its focus sight to get a nice line sight onto that Tiger tank. It is going to be able to take it out if, well, he did pop smoke, so very smart of him. Especially smart using it in the river, because in the river he is going to be slowed down quite a lot. So he's going to be able to cross the river while still masked. The Su-85 does manage to catch up to him, takes a nice shot, crossing the river. He's going to take a shot in return, but this is a Veteran C3 Su-85. The Veteran C3 Su-85 is going to rip to shreds this Tiger, but the Tiger does actually manage to back itself off out of the range of it. Finally, the Su-85s do move into position to take off this bunker. Bunker goes down, so finally the floodgate is open for these infantries to move over to the right-hand side, over to the north, and start getting some kills in there. In the center, we do see the German forces capturing the victory point, trying to take down those points. We know that the Soviets are heavily losing on the point section right now, but they are going to be able to recapture the sector. AT gun does get taken out. Grenadier Squad down to 2 men, down to 1 man, getting ripped to shreds by this anti-air gun. And it's not going to make it out of there. It's not even going to try to make it out. And it's going to go down. Victory point going to get recaptured by the Soviet forces. And again, we have another strong advance by 4 Grenadier Squads on the left-hand side trying to go for the victory point. But we already have a defensive position set up by the player, Johnny Rico, with his Roughnecks. And he is going to start opening up on these Grenadiers. The AT gun actually opening up on the squads as well. The Guards Rifle in the heavy cover from their sandbags, opening up on the Grenadiers as they push forward. We still have these Su-85s, only 1 Su-85 left on this side. He did move 1 to support against that big push from the German armor in the middle. Grenade goes on top of all the squads. Nice grenade, down to 1 man in each of the guys. This squad is down to 1 man, actually drops a PTRS rifle, needs to pick it up and retreat out of there. He doesn't actually pick it up, but he manages to get his Guards Rifle out of there before he gets killed. This squad could actually potentially pick up a PTRS rifle and become that much more effective at anti-tank. Sniper takes a shot by the Tiger, gets one of its guys killed, the spotter, so the sniper decides to retreat and not risk getting itself killed. Right-hand side, again, big conglomeration of Soviet forces just capturing the territory, but once again, they are not making any incursions into enemy territory to try to get a upper hand on them for some reason. We do finally see a conscript squad crossing the river, maybe even capturing a territory, although they have been very bad at capturing territory in the past. We do hear some artillery going down. Can't actually see where, it probably was going down around here, but Not sure what it managed to do. Conscript squad in the center, decapping that territory. We do see a call-in, maybe sector artillery or a strafing run. It looks like it's gonna be sector artillery, look like, or artillery barrage. Some type of artillery that we see hitting here. The Tiger tank might have actually gotten hit by it a little bit. Decides to back away. Quite a smart decision. And that is not a Katusha. What is it? Or is it a Katusha? No, it was the Nebel tanks. The Nebel Panzers or Panzerwerfers? Yeah, Panzerwerfers I think they're called. Yeah, because we still don't have a Katusha rebuilt for the Soviet forces. They lost their only Katusha they had on the field. So yeah, we have a Panzerwerfer 42 over here on this side of the river. Conscripts again going on the other side of the river, trying to capture some points, getting caught in the open by this Tiger. They should be able to capture before they have to retreat. They actually push a little bit forward. They're going to try to get an 18-8 on the Tiger. One of the guys gets killed by another shot from the Tiger, so I think they're going to try to retreat. They are a little bit clumped up together. They need to be careful. They do sprint forward, or Ura. 18-8 goes in, but doesn't actually manage to crit the engine. Only does a little bit of damage, so the conscripts are going to retreat and go back home. Still more Nebel shots by the Panzerwerfer. Not sure what it's called exactly. The shots that they do. Rockets on the right-hand side. And still, for some reason, we don't see any attempt by the Soviet players to push on the right-hand side. I mean, you have squads all over the place. You have a conscript squad over here. This one's retreating at least, but come on, just send something over there. Try. Oh well. Still no, we do see that the Soviet forces are now holding 2 of the victory points, so that's taking it in their favor now, so they might be able to actually pull a win out of this one. They have actually managed to inflict a lot of pain onto the German forces being the responsible for that because they have actually tried to outright kill them 2 times now with a very massive armored push, but they have not been able to be successful in breaking their backs. Artillery barrage being called right on top of this point. Grenadiers decide to retreat, not after getting the entire cap, unfortunately for the Soviet forces. More barrages being called in by that Panzerwerfer, falling right on top of all these forces here. He doesn't actually know where they are, but he knows that they're going to be focused on this side because of the victory point. This AT gun actually gets 2 or 3 other guys killed in one of those shots and is down to 3 men. We also hear on artillery, artillery shots falling in from the German side. I'm not sure I need to make any sound effects myself. Nice shots. Is it actually going to hit anything? Ooh, nice shot, direct shot on top of that AT gun. Clears it out completely. A second shot goes in. It looks like maybe a little bit of damage to this AT gun, but doesn't actually get any kills. This AT gun is quite damaged. Yeah, that smoke is starting to slow me down. So not a bad idea from the German players to constantly barrage this sector. Wow, one nice shot goes in there. Down to 3 men on this AT gun. And we also see the Panzerwerfer. Boom. All over the area. So a lot being happening here. Grenadier squads having to retreat, still focusing only on 4 of them. They need to do a little bit more. They haven't been able to actually punch through on the left-hand side, so they need more to be able to break through. Back here to see how many artillery guns I can spot. But we now see a strong push by the Soviet forces into the center. They finally decided to cross the river, and we now have a massive force that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Su-85s on the Axis side of the river. They are going forward, gonna try to snipe as many armor as they can, but I don't think this is a great idea. One of the Su-85s gets instantly sniped. 2 of the other Su-85s decide to back it up. They say, you know what, this isn't worth it. We're gonna get ourselves killed by doing this stupid thing. And here we go. This Su-85 at Vet 3 is gonna get itself killed. Actually gets blocked off on the retreat from a T-34. Out of control, so Veteran C3 lost. T-34 does move forward and is maybe taking some shots for these tanks. This other Su-85 at bed 2 is going to be able to kill this Panther. Panther got itself way out of position, is now in between 3 Su-85s, and one more shot. No, actually it misses, so it's going to be fine. It's trying to circle strafe this bed 2 Su-85, but this Su-85 in the rear should be able to take care of it. And a bombing run goes in, and I think that was a German bombing run on top of the Su-85. Actually ends up taking out that Panther. So not the best idea, but not bad at all. I mean, they did manage to pick up some kills on the German armor. And decrew one of the AT guns. If they shoot at it, they might be able to kill it. Veteran C3 conscripts with Panzer Shrek going up against that Tiger. Quite a nasty sight to see. And we have a full retreat again. Still, we now have the Soviet forces now focusing on the other side of the river. Quite a change of pace. They are now finally on the offensive. Su-85 going forward, trying to kill that Tiger tank, but it's going to get itself killed on its own. Bombing run goes in and actually manages to catch that Su-85, and that is one dead Su-85. Soviet forces, for the most part, pushed back. We have a conscript squad that's going to run headlong into 5 Grenadier squads. These Grenadiers are going to be able to push them back or kill them immediately if they don't run away. Down to 4 men. Down to, well, they're going to go down to 3, yeah. Maybe down to 2 by the time they fully get out of there. Down to 2. But they should be able to make it out just fine. They have enough health. Artillery falling all over the place. This artillery is going over to the left-hand side on the victory point, it looked like. No, not the victory point, actually. It looks like it is this point over here. Way off. This point over here. Point captured by the Soviet forces. Artillery falling nearby. It's actually flying in their direction, but not managing to actually get any shots in. This shot looks nice, but it looks a little bit too short. Yeah, not enough. Center victory point getting assaulted by a Tiger and 2 infantry squads, 1 Panzer Grenadier, 1 Grenadier. Looks like they might be able to get a cap on that point, although they are not getting a cap right now. There we go. The infantry does get killed, and they are starting to decap. Tiger tank does pop some smoke, manages to get itself behind the enemy lines, but with a Panzer Shrek and a Su-85 here, they do manage to get a damage on the engine. Su-85 gets some nice shot in. They're going to be able to kill it, but at what cost? So they're probably going to lose that victory point. Victory point is almost captured. Nice shot go in. Destroyed engine on the Su-85 needs to get one last shot in, but it doesn't manage to. Not before he gets killed, though. We do have Su-85s behind. Manage to get to this one. Needs to get repaired if it wants to get back on the field. Victory point does get taken by the German forces, so it's sticking back again in the favor of the Germans. Soviets need to get back out there and repair. The AT or anti-air gun on this half-track is doing quite a number on this infantry, ripping them to shreds. But there is a pack gun here that's turning around to face it. It's gonna get a shot on it before anything happens. Actually misses with the first shot, and it gets decrewed by a Molotov, so it's gonna be able to survive and stay there, getting those infantry out of there quite nicely. Panzer Shrek equipped conscripts are fighting these pioneers. Tiger tank and a Panther moving across the river. They want to keep this point. They don't want to lose it. Half-track takes a nasty shot, gets down to about half health. With the reduced damage taken on that bed 2, I believe it gets, it is going to be able to stay alive, but another shot should be able to deal with it quite nicely. And the Tiger does take aim. It is going to fire, and it goes out of control, and down goes the half-track. So all the Soviet forces are in the victory point, trying to get the cap on it. They don't want to lose it. It might be down to the neck at the victory point sector, and that is why they are being so aggressive against it. I think they want to just finish the game right now. Otherwise, the German forces are going to whittle and die. Panther getting shot at from all sides from Su-85s. 3 Su-85s shooting in unison. They are going to take down that Panther. The Tiger decides to back the hell up. It's going to get itself across the river and out of the fight. We do have a Stug and a pack gun on the right-hand side moving forward, decrewing one of these AT guns. But we still have 3 Su-85s plus another 2 Su-85s moving into the area, taking shots at this Tiger. This Tiger's going to go down immediately. That's too much firepower for one Tiger to take. It does pop smoke, manage to get itself behind all this Su-85, but once it's out of the smoke, it is dead as shit. Stug does go down because it cannot hope to stand against Su-85s. Pack gun takes a shot at this Su-85, manages to catch it out, and gets a shot in the rear and brings it down to 0 health, to death. Checking on the map, we do see that the Soviet forces manages to keep the left-hand side in their possession. And on the right-hand side, we do have a pack gun just a little bit too forward. Shock troops might be able to just simply go on top of it and kill it. Victory point being held by the Panzer equipped conscripts. These conscripts are actually vet 0, so we have another squad around there with a Panzer. Maybe they died though, but oh well. Another strong push by the German forces into the victory point. We have 3 Grenadier squads followed by a 4th one, not far behind. Though the 4th one is very low in health, not going to last a long time out there. Grenade goes on top of these Grenadiers and gets a kill. That was just one guy forward. Riflenades go on top, basically like artillery. They don't manage to actually do much, but they do make them hit the ground essentially. Shock troops on their own still holding the line, need to get reinforced by something. We do have a Guards rifle going onto the right-hand side, gonna try to support these shock troops. Shock troops are getting shot at by all sides. They are surrounded by infantry. They do manage to, well, they actually jump out of the area, and the point is now getting taken by the German forces. Another nade goes into the middle, takes care of one of the squads. Another nade goes on top of it. The Germans doesn't actually manage to do much, and the shock troops have to retreat down to one man. Another fresh shock troop goes into the field. It's gonna rush into the point to try to get that decap, or not, try to stop the decap that is, and they do manage to rout the German forces. Strafing runs and airplanes being called all over the place. Nice artillery barrage goes into this sector and kills one of the Panzer Grenadiers. Entire squad gets wiped out, doesn't actually manage to get itself out of there, and does a lot of damage on the retreating squads. Still no attempts to focus on the right-hand side. This, here we go. This is the veteran C3 Panzer equipped conscripts. I need these guys to do something. I need them to go over to the right-hand side and pretty much wipe it out on their own. With that Panzer you can't really, you can't really be that timid. And you have a second one falling on behind them. So very nice. I think that they're actually finally getting risky and going forward. And this Tiger is screwed. We do have a marked target on the Tiger. Very nice. Panzer goes in, does a little bit of damage, makes it retreat a little bit. Second Panzer coming up a little bit behind. They need to push forward. No, they decide to back off a little bit. Oh well. This is now the major point of contention. We have 2 Guards rifle, 2 Panzer equipped conscripts. Still a marked target on this Tiger. Tiger decides to back off once he sees the Guards rifle. Doesn't want to get pinned down. But the infantry decides to back off and go once again into the center. MG42 gets picked up by these conscripts shooting across the river. Very nice choice there. It's going to hold any infantry approach. Guards rifle pushing falling back on the face of this armored push. It's just a Panther and a Tiger, but they do need to be careful against it. Panther going a little bit too forward, not exactly sure what it's deciding to do. It does get shot by one of the Panzer gets a nice shot in there, does a little bit of damage, about 5%, and is going to make it back self up. He said like, oh wait, they have Panzer I wasn't counting on that. Nice barrage here goes in, got some damage on these infantry. They decide to retreat. This AT gun is still not recruit. And we do hear some artillery going in. Nice shot going in by the German artillery. We do have 2 artillery pieces, it looked like, shooting up behind. And we now see the push from the Soviet armor. And this Panther says, holy shit. Down to very low health. Is he actually going to make it out of there? One last shot should be able to do it. Last shot misses, though. Tiger moves into the area to try to stop these Su-85s. Gets a nice shot at this front Su-85. Brings it very low in health. He's going to actually be able to kill it before it backs off. Doesn't manage to penetrate on the armor. And the T-34 is going to block its path. There it goes. Gets marked target. And Su-85 takes a shot to the face and loses the gun. But Su-85 over here is in the rear and is going to be able to shoot it in the butt. Oh no. And wow, that killed it. I don't even know what killed it. I think it might have been a Panzer. And that Tiger is dead. Now, Soviet forces pushing even further ahead and getting behind this other Tiger. There is another Panther over here. Well, the same Panther. Very low in health. Very forward. Main gun destroyed on this T-34. T-34 going to try to get itself out of there while the infantry is pushing forward. We have those Panzer equipped conscripts going forward, trying to catch that Tiger and the Panther. The Panther decides to get itself out of there. It's too exposed and it's going to go forward. Su-85 with focus sight, still chasing that Tiger. Nice bombing barrage goes in and obliterates these. Well, not obliterates because they're still there. Oh, well, now I got obliterated. Nice combination of Collins there, an artillery barrage here, and a bombing run destroys these conscript squads. Thankfully, though, the Vet 3 one with the Panzer Shrek does manage to get itself out of there, but the vanilla one that also had another Panzer Shrek does get itself killed. Su-85 with a destroyed gun decides to move over to the right-hand side, and is just simply going to stay there. Artillery still falling all over the place. Very heavy usage of artillery by the German forces. Let's see if we can find the artillery guns in the German base. We have one artillery gun here that got destroyed by an Su-85. And we have a second artillery piece here getting barraged by that airplane. Does get decrewed, but it's going to simply get recrewed in a matter of time. And going to start barraging again. But very nice by the Soviet forces of rushing forward to take out those artillery guns. They were being very brutal at them. Opel Blitz getting caught in the open by two CoH troops is actually going to go down to the small arms fire. Grenade actually goes on top of the truck and takes it out. It's very nice. CoH troops, while can't really effectively deal with vehicles, they can pretty much deal with the Opel Blitz just fine. Even their anti-infantry grenades can. And here we go again, guys. Sorry. Second crash in the same game. I gotta get that fixed soon. I mean, it's coming today, so hopefully I'll get it fixed and we won't have to deal with this issue anymore. But, well, we can see that we're pretty much at the end of the game. So let's just keep the overlay, well, not overlay, but the taskbar open for the remainder so that we can see. And as we can tell, the Soviet forces looks like they actually managed to pull it off. They have brought the Germans down to 3 points. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be over in a matter of seconds. Now, we were saying that the CoH troops can actually still deal with Opel Blitzes just fine with their small arm fires and grenades, even though they can't deal with other vehicles. And there we go, down to 1 point, and boom, playback over. So, nice victory for the Soviet forces. They managed to pull back and rally and obliterate the German forces pretty much. What do we have left on the field? Opel Blitzes all over the place. We had a Tiger hiding itself in some shrubbery, and an Su-85 that somehow got repaired. Well, I mean, they do have the passive vehicle repair crew ability, so maybe he was using that. Yeah, I would assume that's probably it. There's also the self-repair. Maybe it's this one. I don't know. Well, they have this, so they probably might have just used that to repair over here on this side. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it was an interesting game. Let me know if you guys liked the no overlay thing. The thing is that, I mean, from what I do in my 1v1s, I can't really put, you know, what every player has as far as unit goes. It would just clutter the screen all over the place. We would have like this probably center point here to be able to view the battlefield. And since there's just too many players to keep track of, I decided to just focus as an army as a whole. And, well, maybe you guys liked it that way. I hope you do. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description below. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope, again, you like the cast, and I will see you next time.